sun rising to my eyes. Hey, I can't realize, say she don't judge me. Na 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 na. Excuse me, lady, can I get to know you? I like you plenty.
Well, hi, happy Valentine's Day to you. Today, the 14th of February 2020. Amazing, amazing day that is. As you can see, time check is at 6:49 p.m. not a.m. p.m. and I am right here in my gorgeous, gorgeous bed. This was the location that my spirit wanted to spend most of the day today. In truth, I am actually in the middle of a tonsillitis episode, and in this tonsillitis episode I have muscle ache and joint ache. And because I have those, today this may not have been what I wanted to do originally, but I've had to readjust because this is what works best for me today, to do some TLC, take care of me, give to the kids what I have and what I am capable of, but also not forgetting that I have needs as well. Yes, the kids want a mom, but even my kids are getting to that point where they realize that mom is also a human being and she has needs. And in fact, today they have been incredibly attentive, and it's made me feel very special. But the greatest love of them all started with me. I love me so very much that I am able to say to people, I am not well today. No, I cannot get out of bed early today because I have muscle ache. Yes, my neck is so stiff. Can you please give it a massage for me? Oh, I ache and I need medication. Can you please give me that? One of the greatest things in the Bible for me is that phrase, love thy neighbor as thyself. That sets a lot of things in context, but unfortunately, many people either misconstrue this purposefully or otherwise, but people misconstrue this and miscommunicate this. The Bible does not call you to love your neighbor more than yourself, and I don't think any religious book ever does that. The greatest love of them all is the love you have for thyself. So you love thy God, you love thyself, and then you love your neighbor after you've loved yourself in equal measure. You cannot love your neighbor unless you have learned to love you. You can never be satisfied unless you have learned to meet your inner need. Today, I could have gone to the most fancier restaurants, the fanciest restaurants there is to go to. But it would mean nothing to me because in my perspective, the best thing to do is for me to stay in this wonderful bed that I made myself. It would have been nice if somebody else made the bed for me. But today I actually did feel like going through the motions to make the bed, and I did. It was one of decluttering, of clearing my head, of making sure that it's a fresh day, fresh linen, fresh start, everything smelling wonderful. That's how I wanted my day to be. If you are somebody in a couple, most people in relationships tend to do that. You look onto a partner to make you happy. Guilty as charged. I have done that many times. Well, in the past, when I had that mentality, it caused me a lot of heartbreak around occasions like Valentine's Day and on my birthday. Because the way I love, my love language is gifts. My love language is expressive. I go out and about and I do above and beyond for this person to communicate my love and my dedication, blah, 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 blah. But that's my style. That's my love language. Unfortunately for me, the person I selected to live with does not speak the same love language. Does not. And it took me a few years to actually work this out. It took me a few broken hearts on a few fabulous days when I had externalized what should be an internal quest I was waiting for somebody to give me satisfaction. I was waiting for somebody to complete my day. I was waiting for somebody to be thoughtful in order for me to feel loved. And in every single case, when I have relied on other people, be it my kids, be it my spouse, be it my friends and colleagues, when I have depended on other people to make me feel complete, it has never worked, ever. If you are not careful, you will blame those people and you would say those people are not meeting your needs. But in fact, those people are incapable of meeting your needs. How can another person be responsible for meeting your need? How is that even possible? Only you will know this need, and this need is transient anyway. And only you who knows this need can meet the need. And the funniest thing about this need is that it is a need for love and attention from you first, nobody else. So you find some people spend time doing their nails, and when you finish doing your nails, it looks wonderful and you feel better. Some people will groom and it makes them feel better. Some people will spend time with themselves. Some people will buy gifts for themselves. Some people will renew the mind somewhat. And if you manage to find that connectivity with self, when you are sincere about what makes her happy or him happy, if you happen to be a male, if you are sincere about meeting those needs, if you are not giving more to other people than you give to this person, if you are nourishing yourself, if you are providing everything that this being needs to be whole and complete, you will find that you actually don't need validity externally. I have spent most of the day in my bed. I get a few kisses here and hugs there, and are you okay? And it's been wonderful. I have not felt the need to ring anybody because I am complete and inadequate in here. There hasn't been a need to be in a group today. No, because I am actually doing what this being needs. The gifts, which is the most important gift of them all, is the gift of this time that I have invested in this self. So this person is now so satisfied with having received the most needed gift that all other gifts are supplementary. The kids asked, Mom, what would you like? And I'm like, I don't know. Can we get you a treat? I'm like, sure. Can we get some ice cream? I'm like, okay. Ice cream is something the three of us will share this evening after our meal. We will chill and relax over it. We will enjoy it. I am looking forward to it. But even if we don't have ice cream and I get to spend time with them, I will be satisfied. I have had time to watch Netflix, and those of you who know me know that time to do stuff I enjoy for the sake of it is really limited in my life. And because I know this limitation, anytime I have an opportunity now, I actually take care of me and my need. You see, if you happen to be in a relationship, you still have to work on you. It is you who is responsible for meeting your own needs and sometimes directing other people around you to meet your needs. People will say selfish, but that's okay. In order to live happily and live long, you need to take care of yourself. And if other people call it selfish, so be it. Then selfishness is a need, in fact. You need to be selfish. You cannot be selfless all the time, because otherwise your cup needs to be full in order to overflow onto other people. You cannot overflow when your cup is not full. This is the God honest truth. Another partner cannot make your cup full. You will have to do that for yourself. Yes, the person can put the cherry on top, the icing on the cake, but the baking of the cake will have to be your job to do. If you happen to be single, then life is even simple because there's nobody else you are dependent on to meet your need. Stop wasting your life and your time waiting for this other person, the knight in shining armor, to come complete you. My dear, you are complete already. You should find a way to complete yourself, regardless of being single. In fact, when you are single is the best time to fall in love with this you, To be in tune with this you, so that when you meet the other person, when you find your knight in shining armor, then that person puts the cherry on top and the icing on the cake, because that's the only job that person really does have. To put the basic need of your happiness as a responsibility for an external person who is struggling to even work it out for himself or herself is madness. Why will you trust this important thing to another person? On this day, I know many of you who are where I was in the past, where you will be disappointed with the gifts people buy you, because no gift will hold the value that you require to make you feel complete. No gift. A box of chocolate will never do it. Even jewelry will never do it. You will like something, but it will never be complete. There will always be that little thing. Oh. And if you are not lucky and you chose somebody whose love language is not a gift and they ignore you, then you are dead. I have cried on many a Valentine's Day. Believe me, wasted tears. Tears of ignorance. I have been unfulfilled on many a birthday, devastated on some because I hadn't learned this simple principle. So on a particular milestone birthday, when it had continued and I had felt so let down, I went on a quest to study to find out why I had this void. And the answer was very simple. I was depending on other people to fill my void, and these people were incapable of it. The one person who was responsible and capable of doing so was me. And it was up to me to soul search and find what would actually make me whole. So I started from my external. At that time, I decided I didn't like my appearance. So packed all my clothes, dumped all of them, and started buying things. And yeah, that was the first stage towards that journey, buying physical things. And obviously, the more clothing I bought, the more stylish it was, the greater. Then, from just buying the externals, I realized that when my belly is that big in those clothing, it was not. The novelty of the new clothes wears off. And then it becomes my stomach actually shows in this one. I have to do something about my physique. So I went on a diet, a sustained diet, attempted lifestyle change. But I reverted back at some point. But anyway, I did this lifestyle change, and then my body began to change. Again, very exciting stuff, because I was looking better and I was feeling better, and my void was filling from within. Then I realized I never actually allowed time for me to bond with me. I am always on the move for the kids. I am always looking to placate my husband. I am looking to be with friends. I want to be available for the community, but that was not being available for me. So the next stage, so I started with filling my void with physicals, and I found even that was inadequate. Then I moved from the external clothing onto my external body, but at least it's closer to within. My body was next. Attempted to deal with the body did its job, and then I realized that I had to work on here to shift my mentality towards taking care of me, and that was the actual trick. When I changed and made the focus of my life, the center of my life, to be me, an acknowledgement of my likes and dislikes, and acceptance that they are what they are, and there is no apology to be made for anybody. There is no explanation to be made for anybody. It is what it is. Take it or leave it. I decided that I was going to be sincere to me. If something made me happy, I will tell you. If something makes me unhappy, I will tell you. I don't particularly censor information just to make sure the other person is not made uncomfortable. Well, if I am uncomfortable, why should the other person also not be uncomfortable? Why do I lie about my needs just so you can be comfortable? I think that is asking way too much from me. And those of you who've been my friends, associates, or family for quite a while would have seen that I have been very radical in making changes. Any relationship which is not meeting me halfway was cut. Anybody who just wanted to take and give nothing back was also sacrificed in that process. Because I realize that those people, they just drain energy from me and put nothing back. If I don't do anything about those relationships, it will make me an empty vessel. And when you are an empty vessel, you become a bitter person. You become resentful. You smile on the surface, even that, and at some point, even that smile is not possible. Your personality changes and you become difficult to live with because you are not living your truth, because you are not acknowledging your truth, because you are not doing what your spirit being wants. When people take advantage of you, you might not vocalize anything about it, but if you are sincere and honest with yourself, in your quiet moments, it comes to your mind that this person has treated me badly. This person has not done right by me. And if you are really honest and sincere, that makes you angry internally. And because you have failed yourself, because you've not stood up for yourself, because you have not reaffirmed that you are also important, and you've allowed this other person to trample on your rights and go freely, you become disappointed with yourself. And over time, you become even angry with yourself. And this anger with yourself spills over into anger with everybody you deal with, anybody who is near and dear. Be honest. When I am unfulfilled, those around me will realize how difficult I am to live with. I am erratic because my needs are not met. I am not settled. I am incapable of giving love before I have given it to myself. And if you are really sincere, I am not much different from you. That is the basics of the human being. We all have to move from that area where we are insincere and want to please people and want to pretend that we are these giving people, that it is necessary to only please other people but not yourself. You want to sacrifice everything for your husband's career. You want to make sure that his needs are all met. You want to be the proverbial good wife. Good on the surface, but you are a resentful woman inside. You hate the fact that people take advantage of you. And it's a human need. They need to be treated fairly. You cannot move away from it, regardless of what spirituality concept you use to cover it. Screaming and shouting any prayers is not going to change that, because that's the fundamental of who you really are. Fundamentally, we want to be treated fairly, and we want to treat people fairly as a response. If you allow yourself not to be treated well, you become incapable of fair treatment to other people. Think about that one for 1 second. All I want to say this Valentine's Day is that the greatest love of them all, apart from the love of God, if you are so inclined, is the love of self. When that love is in place and secure, all other loves are possible. When I am now rested and my back is not killing me, I am more likely to feel charitable to call people and wish them a happy Valentine's Day and to check what they've been up to without any fear of jealousy or resentment. My needs have been met. So when your needs have been met, I can be happy for you. When my needs are not met, hearing stories of how your needs have been met only exaggerates the inadequacies in my life, and that's what brings the green-eyed monster, jealousy. With the jealousy will come resentment and eventually bitterness. Don't be fooled by people in situationships screaming and shouting all sorts of things, wanting you to think their relationship is the best. They are actually not trying to deceive you. Contrary to what most people think, they are actually trying to deceive themselves to make their reality look better. There are people who will go out this day and buy beautiful presents and claim that it came from partners, because really that's what they would have liked. Inadequacies in their lives, so they try and compensate for it. And you're like, why is she lying? No, she's not lying to you. She's trying to lie to herself so she feels better. Bear that in mind when other people tell you their stories and their experiences on this day. There are some people who will go off and do flamboyant things because they are doing retribution for things that they have done. They have failed their partners somewhat and they feel guilty. So this is a nice excuse to do something flamboyant, to try and cover up, so the partner can look favorably on this one and forget the iniquities. Don't be fooled by any of those displays. Don't think that the fact that there is no flamboyance in your life means that you are having a diminished experience. Just check and ask yourself, what is important here? And when that need is met, the rest of them, they are just enjoyable to watch. Don't be worried too much if you are a singleton. Actually, being single on Valentine's Day is an incredible gift. It is a time for you to look at this person, to get to know this person and their needs, to connect with your inner being, to meet your inner being, to become complete. And then it is possible for you to radiate love out to another person when you meet them. If other people are eating dinners and you feel like it, be clear that going to a restaurant on your own is absolutely acceptable too. You want to see a film, go to a cinema. You want to go for a stroll, please go right ahead and do so. You can even do it in a public place. You can have your individual stroll in a public place in tandem with other people, also sharing the atmosphere. You don't need to be left alone. Don't stay indoors if it's not your thing. But for people like me today, staying indoors is all we want to do. Turning on Netflix is all I want to do. Watching stupid romantic comedies is all I want to do. And you know, just the smile on my face should tell you that I have found my niche. And this piece has nothing to do with my partner because he's not even here in this home today. I am here by myself. Would have been my worst nightmare a decade or so ago. I would have cried most of today. My heart would have been broken most of the day. I would have tried to pretend that all was well most of the day. And because of that, the people who loved me and wanted to show love genuinely and sincerely were not connecting with me adequately because I had this void inside. Those who know me would know a birthday when I went to school, and every time somebody brought me a bouquet, it made me cry. And nobody really understood why I was crying. I was crying because that I wanted a bouquet from a particular person who hadn't given me a bouquet. Again, I had to sit down and reflect. They are flowers. What does it matter who buys it for you? Then I couldn't answer. How many flipping bouquets did you get? I had about 10 that day. So you have 10 bouquets on your hand. You always said that you loved bouquets. Here are these beautiful, expensive expressions of people's feelings, and you are so lost inside. And I went to the florist that day. I didn't want roses. No, I did not. I just went to the florist and I looked around and I found the one plant which my spirit wanted. I got that one orchid, added it to the rest of the bouquets, and suddenly that one thing for myself, which I really wanted, made the rest a little bit more meaningful. That day I realized waiting for external people to meet my need was not going to be. Has this made you thoughtful? I do hope so. Has this made you reflexive? I do hope so. I do hope that you realize that you have a need and you have to fulfill that need. But also you have a responsibility to try and extend this courtesy to the people who engage with you. Don't expect that people will give you only and you give nothing back. That makes you selfish. And that makes you unworthy of anything that you receive from other people. You have to give and expect nothing in return. And when it does come, it is a bonus. That is the true recipe for happiness. give unto other people after you've put in yourself. And when your own cup is full, you have no expectations of other people around you. And when you have no expectations of people, you don't get disappointed. You don't get disappointed. And because you are not disappointed, you are more fulfilled. I hope that you learn to have a fulfilling Valentine's Day. That you learn to have a fulfilling every day as much as you can. Life gets hectic and busy, but you have to pause and refill your tank every now and again. Be kind to yourself so you are capable of kindness to your neighbor. Then you are living the universal principle of love thyself. That's the first clause. That's the first requirement. Love thy neighbor as you love thyself. It means that you love thyself first and you use that as your measurement of how much love to give to your neighbor. Your neighbor should not receive less, but they certainly should not receive more than what yourself receives. Happy Valentine's Day. I hope whatever you do brings you this fulfillment. And if you were not having the greatest of Valentine's Day, I hope pondering on this, reflecting on this, and changing your perceptions and mentality might help you have a better experience today. I want you to have that Cheshire Cat smile of satisfaction at the end of the day when you retire to your bed and you can't really pinpoint a particular thing which made you feel great. All you feel is that you feel great and you have found your little niche in this earth. Happy Valentine's Day, dear. I love you. And I hope you also learn to love you and others around you. See you soon. You can find me, Amma Manson, on all social media handles. Follow me. This series is called Amma Muses, and Amma mused on the concept of self-fulfillment and happiness this day. Goodbye. Good evening, oh.